Hey everyone, how you doing? Wherever you're watching me from in the world, I'm grateful to be alive. I'm grateful you're alive. It's good to be grateful. I know King Solomon has a quote where he says, "If you have eyes to see and ears to hear, be grateful to God who gave it to you." So I'm grateful that you have the eyes and ears to see and hear. I just wanted to make this video for anyone who has who struggles from something I occasionally struggle with. It used to be very bad before, but now it's a lot better because I've learned and I've put some practices to help me counter it, and that is overthinking things. Overthinking can stop you from achieving anything. And why is that? Overthinking can make you worry about the end even before you begin. Overthinking can make you worry about how can I sell this house when you have not even bought the foundation to even begin with? And overthinking can manifest in different ways. Sometimes it can be anxiety and worry. Let me give you an example. Now, I've not been long on YouTube, but I've been around it. I've helped other clients, find their way through it with niches and ideas and whatsoever. But when I decided that, you know what, I need to start posting on YouTube, start sharing what I have, I started overthinking stuff, right? I started postponing it because what was the one fear I had, or rather, what was the one worry I had, what was the one anxiety I had was, what am I going to talk about? I mean, while I had some ideas of what I was going to talk about, but I was wondering how can I sustain the momentum? And you can see the effects of overthinking in its place already manifesting its ugly head, and I'm already thinking about how can I sustain it when I haven't even started yet at all. And I decided, you know what, screw it, I'm just going to start. And I had maybe like five or six topics, five or six things that I was going to talk about based on personal experiences. um And by the way, if you're on the fence about YouTube, I believe everybody should be on YouTube. Everybody has You have a right to share what you have experienced to the world. And if you're wondering what should I share, the rule of thumb is this: if you could go back 25 years to meet your younger self, what is the one thing that you have to teach that person? If you could go back 30 years, 40 years, depending on how old you are, if you could go back half mark in your life, what are the things that you can share to that person that can make that person a better person? So that's a rule of thumb. You can start from there and don't overthink it. But so I started overthinking, and this is me. I mean, I'm 45. I've had massive experiences. I've been to places and I've interacted with all manner of people. Why would I be having this? So here's what happened. I just said, you know what? I'm just going to do it. And I just had five things to talk about. So I went on with the first day. So I recorded the first day. My first video was everything went wrong, but I just went at it. And I'll never forget what happened to me that evening of November 25th or something. As I sat down in the living room, it was late, late night. I was just, you know, doing some visioning, on YouTube and all that. And I wasn't thinking about what I was going to talk about the next day. But as my mind was at rest, somebody says when you work, God rests. When you rest, God works. As my mind was at rest, I wasn't thinking about anything. And just like that, shoo, I got four unique ideas. Four unique ideas just came out like a thought. Whew, four unique ideas. I was like, whoa. And I wasn't thinking about it, you know? And I was like, wow. So I went upstairs, got my pen and my pad. I wrote, the four ideas. The next day, I think I was on my way back from the gym or something, and I was listening to an audio book. And just like that, the speaker said something that resonated with me and now connected with an experience I had before. And just like that, three more ideas were born. So overthinking can stop you dead on your tracks. But one way to kill overthinking is by starting. Just start. Again, if you rest, the universe will work. But if you work, the universe will rest. Do you understand? So if you're overthinking stuff, one thing I want you to do is one, Break things down to manageable steps. We are always thinking about the big picture, but the big picture is made up by small pixels, small frames, small pixels or frames or whatever they call it. So break things down to manageable steps. Don't think about the entire alphabet. Think about A and focus on A. You find out doing the small manageable steps are easier. I remember I had a friend who, very brilliant girl, but this was about 3 years ago, and she's into interior deco, very successful at that. But she wanted to transition to start teaching because in according to her, interior decoration was one of the ways that young women could break in, especially people that are very creative, because she says the barrier to entry is very low. As long as you have a very creative mind, you don't need to have inventory and stuff to start. And so she was creating a website where enterprising young ladies in third world countries can go, design stuff, and then download the pictures and post on social media and attract business and whatever. But here she was, on the verge of starting an institute, but she was like, I want to get on YouTube, but I don't have the gear, and I'm into interior. Everything has to be perfect, and this and that and that. And I was like, overthinking is stopping you from starting, because I experienced that. And it's crazy because it seems that overthinkers tend to be the most creative people. Like, everybody who overthinks is, I've found out, to be very intelligent people. I don't know why more intelligent, more creative people tend to overthink. The people that are less intelligent make up for it with boldness and confidence, just go at it. And that is why they're on top. So I said to her, yeah, I understand you want to get this gear, you want to get this studio, but all that stops you from starting. And the more I was trying to advise her, the more she was digging digging her foot into the soil. And so I had an idea, and I told her that, have you ever seen the first video ever uploaded on YouTube? It's called Me in the Zoo. And she was like, no. I said it was posted in 2005 by the third founder of YouTube. His name is Karim. And she was like, no. And this was 3 years ago. So what we had then was the iPhone 14. I think she had an iPhone 14 Pro Max. So I said, okay, pull out your phone and watch it. So she Googled Me in the Zoo. Now, this video was made in April 23rd, 2005, 2 years before the iPhone came out. I think the first iPhone came out in June 29, 2007. So this was probably shot in a camcorder or one of those Blackberries that weighs the size of a dumbbell, whatever. And so she whipped up her phone and she searched Me in the Zoo, and she watched. It's just 20 seconds. And all he was doing was, he was in the zoo, backing the elephants. And all he said, it's me in the zoo. One thing about these guys is that they have a very, very long trunk, and that's it. And the video was over. And she was like, yeah, cool. Then I asked her this. I said, could you see it? She said, yeah, I could see it. Could you hear it? She said, yeah, I could hear it. So you could make out everything that was happening around him? She said, yeah. And then I asked, do you think your iPhone 14 Pro Max can do better? And she just burst out laughing because she got the point. So overthinking can make you worry about stuff that, listen, another way overthinking manifests itself is we get to worry that we don't have enough resources. We don't have enough resources, just like my friend was saying. But I learned something from Tony Robbins. He says that our problem is not lack of resources, but a lack of resourcefulness. And I want you to think about it, that when you plant an orange seed in the ground, now plants grow two ways: upward, which is called the phototropic growth, and downwards, which is called the gravitropic growth. Now, what happens downwards is that the seed starts growing roots, and what is it doing? It's being resourceful. It's taking the nutrients, the moisture, stretching, going down to the water beds. It's taking all the moisture, the nutrients around it. It's being resourceful with what it already has. And as it's resourceful with what it already has, guess what happens? For the tropic growth starts going up and up and up and up. And in a few years' time, it bears fruits. And when you split open the orange, what do you see in it? Resources, seeds. The average orange trees produces around 400 to 500 oranges per year, and each orange has about 10 seeds. So that's 4,000 trees. So overthinking can make you worry, oh, I don't have the resources. I don't have the resources. No, what you need to understand is you have what it takes. You have to use what you have to get what you want. So using what you have is being resourceful. When you use what you have, there's so many stories of billionaires and major entrepreneurs who started selling their stuff from the back of their car. They were being resourceful. I was watching Robert Kiyosaki yesterday. He posted a video that I really liked, and he was talking about how he published his first Rich Dad Poor Dad. It's a bestseller. It's been a bestseller for like 20 to 25 years. But he said that when he published it, no one wanted to buy it. He had to self-publish. So by the time he put it out in somebody's car wash, and nothing happened for 3 months. Then somebody bought all the 12 books, and the guy that bought the 12 books works in a massive organization, and they deal with people. They teach people about entrepreneurship. And the guy called him one day and said, "I want all the books." And another day, Oprah called, and another person called, and the rest is history. So tens of millions. So you have to be resourceful. So don't allow overthinking stop you from being resourceful. Don't allow it from stop you from being resourceful. So my friend saw the video and it just inspired her, and she went at it. So break things down to manageable steps. That's one. Um, Avoid information overload. And this one stops a lot of people because you want to start something, but just Google, just go on YouTube and say how to get a viral video, or how to create a thumbnail, or how to whatever it is. You would find hundreds of thousands of recommendations, and each one looks enticing. So information, Solomon said, too much study wearies the mind. So you'd find yourself watching video after video, article after article, and it wearies you to so much so that you don't take action. So you have to avoid information overload. Usually, what I do when I'm trying to find something, I'm trying to learn something, I have a rule of thumb. I watch just 5 videos or read 5 articles. That's all I do. And if you do that, you begin to find that there are patterns that you can notice. So once you notice those patterns, you begin to say, "Oh, okay, this is that," and then you move with it. So avoid information overload. Today we are drowning of information but starved of wisdom. There's there's tens of trillions of information out there, hundreds of millions of web pages, probably a billion videos. The other day I was reading that it will take 5 million years for for a human to watch all the videos on posted on YouTube. I think per day, but the number of videos posted per day would take an average person 5 million years to watch, or maybe the video posted till now. I don't know, but 5 million years, whatever it is. So we're drowning off information, but we're starved of wisdom. We're drowned of how to, but we never start. So avoid information overload. And another thing that can also help you, as it helps me, is embrace imperfection. Imperfection is part of the game. You have to learn to embrace imperfection. And I always say that perfection is something that is found in progression. Your first step, then your second step, then your third step, then your fourth step. By the time you're on your 15th step, the guy that is on the first step looks at you, or you on the first step looks at you on the 15th step, and would be like, and be saying like, "Oh, that's so perfect." But it's always about the incremental steps, incremental steps. So avoid information overload, embrace imperfection, and just start. Embrace imperfection. Start. Embrace imperfection. Imperfection is part of the game. As long as we're in this bodysuit, there'll always be things that are imperfect. You will never get it right. You will never get it right. You always have to keep going one day at a time, one day at a time, one day at a time. So that can help you avoid overthinking. Another thing too that can help you avoid overthinking is have an accountability partner. Have someone that you can tell, listen, I'm working on this project and I want to start and complete it by so 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 time, and I want you to hold me accountable. That has helped me a lot. And here's one thing I would like to say, so that this could help you. Find accountability partners that are not your loved ones, people that won't I don't want to say stroke your ego, people that won't take into account, people that won't pity your insecurity. Let me just use it for lack of what to say. In other words, if you have an objective to say that I want to complete it by this day, and maybe you worked all night, you don't want someone who say, oh, I understand you worked all night, baby, you worked, oh, go rest, don't worry about that. You have to have an accountability partner who doesn't really care about your insecurities or what you've been through, someone who holds you accountable and say, bro or girl or whatever it is, you made a demand on me to say that you want me to hold you accountable for this or that. So we have to get up and do it. You have to get up and do it. I don't care about excuses. So accountability partner also helps you overcome overthinking. You understand? So it's I'm not trying to say that you can't use family members, but one thing I've understood is that family members can accommodate your insecurities, accommodate your excuses. And what you want to do is execute. Execute before excuses. That's my motto. Execute before excuses. You know. So have an accountability partner, have set a time limit. Don't just say that, oh, I'm going to do this in 5 days or 5 years or in 5 months, because you never do it. Set a time limit. Set a time limit. I'm going to do this in 5 weeks. I'm going to do this. Have a particular, set it 13th of December. This is what I'm going to do. 18th of January, I'm going to do this. And don't make it too far out. If not, overthinking will just make you procrastinate. Because as far as I'm concerned, overthinking is just sexy another sexy way of procrastination. So that's that. The last thing I want to say is this one that I always, imbibe with, and it's, what's the worst that could happen? I can't tell you how many times that has helped me cure myself from overthinking. Like, what's the worst that could happen? What's the worst that could happen? And it happened to me, when I was overthinking my first YouTube video. And one day I was like, what's the worst that could happen? I mean, grown man, like, what's the worst that could happen? And guess what happened when I posted my first video? Absolutely nothing happened. The sun still set in the west, it rose in the east. People went about their day like nothing happened. I mean, the world just continues like nothing happened. But in truth, something happened, because I think it was Earl Nightingale that says that the opposite of courage is not cowardice, it's conformity. What has happened to me and what will happen to you when you take steps is that you realize that you're no longer conforming, you're courageous, you're no longer conforming. Something in you begins to grow. You're like, oh, I like this growth. It's not comfortable, but I like it. I'm growing. you know I'm doing 90 minutes a day on the treadmill, or I'm watching my weight or whatever. But you begin to see the results, and something in you is changing. you know it's like the infinite intelligence in you is congratulating you, like, you're getting up to my level. Do you understand? So that's all I wanted to share. For anyone who's struggling with overthinking will stop you faster than anything. Sometimes overthinking is us trying to say, oh, things have to be perfect. Again, I don't know why intelligent people and creative people are some of the biggest overthinkers. I say that from experience. I don't know why, but it it's they say people that know why employ those that know how. It's harsh, but you'd find that the most intelligent people are working for the people that know why, the people that step out, the people that have courage, the people that say, I will do this regardless. It's just a fact of life. So stop overthinking, go out there and do it. Again, take manageable steps, embrace imperfection, embrace the question, what's the worst that could happen? Do you understand? Take manageable steps, have an accountability partner, but by God, go. By God, go, go, go. You know, one thing that will cure overthinking is action. If you take action, it cures it every single day. So take action, take action, take action. All right. Hope this helps someone. Take care and be great.